now. So just to give you guys, if you guys have checked the circle, Ed has landed the job. New offer just got posted up. New offer just got posted up. Very, very, very happy with him. I don't know if you guys got a chance to also go ahead and see. I posted up on LinkedIn today how we were able to negotiate somebody from 165 over up to like 190K. That has also been a huge thriller. I'm gonna make another video about that in a second. But just to go ahead and let everybody know, you never want to ever just take the offer at face value. There's always a better number to be had. And then I think right before I went to bed last night. Yeah, I also posted up on Instagram. I love Instagram stories now that I'm actually on it like a little bit more. Like I can just go out there and just be like more instant. But I basically walked through the whole framework of like how to go ahead and actually how to go ahead and actually do like create a win-win situation. Originally, the founder was like, or like the company was like 165 is the best that we can go ahead and do. Of course, they're always going to say that. You have to go out there and actually ask, like, okay, so what I want is like 200, or what I want is like 250, or what I want is like, whatever. You have to go ahead and actually create that win-win solution so that like they feel comfortable actually handing you over that number. With that said, everybody pop in their questions, and I'll go ahead and actually answer those questions as they come in. Does anybody have like, give me a second here. Does anybody have like the questions in the comments? Going once, going twice. Get up to like, so somebody popped into the the chat. I've been applying. Actually, hang on. Let's go ahead and I have her numbers in. Austin, what are your numbers, man? What are your applications? What are your interviews?
Yep. I had two interviews last week actually, and been I'm waiting on the call for the next round this week.
Uh-huh.
They were back to back, and and I've been doing 30 apps like every day, 30 to 40. So I
Okay.
think around for me, before I landed those, I think it was like 90 apps, and then I got the first interview, and then another 90, and then the second one.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And then let's see here. Julia, how are we doing on numbers?
I had about 50 and then I went into the hospital last week. I had a skiing
Oh,
accident, so I'm pretty
oh,
behind.
oh no. Skiing?
Yeah,
This is why I don't ski.
yeah, it didn't feel great.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. I only went skiing like one time in my whole life, one weekend. And I was like, me being me, I bought all the best shit. Goggles, the Burton jacket. Man, I came out of my room. I looked at myself like, man, I'm ready to be a badass. And I was like, damn, no, it's not for me. I'll be home drinking.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
well, oh gosh, wish you well. Speedy recovery. I fell so many
Thanks.
times. But now that I'm in the motherland, I have been persuaded because there's a bunch of New York Koreans here. They're like, dude, it's like, Sean, have you ever went snowboarding out here?
No, never. Never.
It's like powder, but like it's the probably the one thing that Koreans would openly be okay admitting that they're number two to Japan. Like Japan is like the freaking thing is like up to your waist. You're like freaking like it's like on cotton. Like yours is freaking like there's no way you can get injured.
Really.
That's exactly the way I want it. Okay, cool. Ashmeet, what are your numbers?
So I'm doing about 20 apps per day. No calls yet. I think
Okay.
I've touched like around 200 for now. But yeah, no calls yet. There's something which came in like with an in-mail. It was so I had like a first recruiter conversation today.
Mhm.
But that was something for what I did never applied to. But it's just like an initial conversation. That's about it. So I'll
Yeah.
know whether if we are moving forward or not, like by the end of week.
Got it. Okay. So let's go ahead and also get to date. Dev, Varsh, what are your numbers looking like?
I'm at 25 today, but my pipeline is very dry. Really, I have one uh, values interview tomorrow, which is really for a role that doesn't even exist yet. Uh,
Those are always great.
and I have one final round in person this Thursday, but it's like the pay is just like really low. But I mean, yeah, those are the only two I have in the pipeline, nothing after that. And yeah, it's really like not fun.
Got it. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually talk about what are some additional strategies that we can go ahead and actually utilize, which I'm creating like a whole checklist off of this. Give me a second here. Okay. So the people that are not getting interviews right now, like I heard like 25 roles like a day. I heard Dave Arsh, you're doing like 2025. And then I also have right now, Divya, you have about 300 rolls out. So on average, how many rolls are you hitting to a day?
Around 50.
Around 50?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let me go ahead and okay. So how are we applying to these jobs right now?
Mostly through LinkedIn.
Okay,
And
is
I
it
have, yeah,
okay, go
sorry.
ahead.
No, like I got this extension Simplify. It makes it easier to apply. So it just
Okay.
autofills the application. So like I spend around 1 hour daily and that's why my count is hitting 50.
Okay. So are we hitting any of the jobs on the Airtable?
I am not, honestly. A lot of them are like not in not in New York or are not remote, so I'm not reaching out to those.
Okay. So
Less.
okay, Ash, are you hitting up the Airtable? Yeah, Ashmeet, are you hitting
Oh,
up?
yeah, sorry. I didn't hear my name. I check on and off, but not so much. But I do, whenever you post on LinkedIn, I do go and hit on those contacts or reach out or send them like a request or hit on those applications. Not on Airtable as much, but more on your LinkedIn is what I'm following.
Got
Uh,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm using built-in Hiring Cafe and LinkedIn for applying.
Okay, LinkedIn built in hiring cafe on LinkedIn. And then Divya, are you also hitting the Airtable?
No, I'm no, mostly using LinkedIn, and whatever you post on LinkedIn, I go through them and also apply there.
Right. Well, you guys pay to be here, so you know the juiciest stuff is actually on the paid content, right? Sean, has the Airtable been helpful?
1000%. I definitely leverage the Airtable as my go-to, not just for the roles, but reaching out to people on LinkedIn as well. people definitely respond to the messages one way or another. So
Yeah. So I would really encourage everybody because Plexi here is doing a beyond fantastic job in actually getting to the Airtable right here. But for those of you guys that can also see, all of these roles that are actually being posted up here, they are the most urgent, and I really recommend for people to hit it between like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at night. Like Dennis was like doing it, I think like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Prit was also like I think crazy enough to do it like I don't know, he was up at like 2 a.m. in the morning. But like and people are like responding, like people are definitely like working around the clock. Um I freaking know I am. And I think anybody that doesn't want to get clipped out now should be working around the clock. Literally. Like I was coming home last night, Sean, from the Samsung office. That whole building was lit up. I'm not talking like somebody forgot to turn off the lights, but we saw people like walking around and shit at like 11:30 at night. What are we gonna do about this Nvidia situation? People, nobody's going home until we get an answer out right now. Like so definitely I would really encourage people, everybody hit these roles up. And like if you guys are talking about being like user centric and like data driven, like to be totally honest, these were the same. I documented this shit just for the sake of it. Like ADP, this lady has been consistently posting like 3 to 4 times like a year. Her name is Sharon. Um, these are the same hiring managers being posted like over and over and over and over and over again. So like I'm asking everybody, I've been running these calls for like the entire year, like study the Airtable, study like who's actually posting up these roles. 80% of the roles that are 80% of the jobs right now on LinkedIn, I mean, that's the teams that are actively looking for product managers have not gotten around to posting the job yet. And when people ask me, like, why haven't they gotten around to posting the, because they're procrastinators just like y'all, just like me. I have Slack messages I have not responded to yet, not saying that I shouldn't. So I really, really, really recommend that you guys actually get on this and hit it from like different angles too. So if there's like also roles that you guys think that you guys are good for, I can show you guys how to craft up the message. But the LinkedIn Easy Apply, this is a hard one for me to actually say this because on one hand, it's just like, well, Rich, like, should I even bother with? Yes, because a lot of times they will go ahead and ask you, did you apply to the role already? And you should at least have your information in the system and then back it up with a follow-up. So it comes down to just having like good time management of I would recommend for people to get the jobs out in the morning. So it's actually in the company system and then doing the follow-up in the afternoon. Or if that's too much to do for you guys, I know some of you guys are full-time job hunting, is to go ahead and then actually like put it out there where you're getting the job first, and then like maybe the next day you're just doing like 1 day of follow-ups. But applying without follow-ups is not going to help you yield more interviews. I promise you that much. Any other questions for me? S, who's S? Never seen S before.
Hi, Rick. Good evening. This is Sai.
All right. I've never seen you on one of these calls before. You want to go ahead and intro yourself?
Oh, like I have been on and off on these calls, Rick, Rich. So I have been with the program for over 3 years now. I got two of my earlier product manager jobs through Product J. So this is the third time I'm trying to land a new PM job.
There you go. Trace the habits. Everybody needs to be consistent. when I take a look at, you guys took a look at the offers channel, right? On the internal. If you guys take a look at like Sean, Prit, Sandy, Lawrence, Ed, Shravani, if you guys take a look at like we've been documenting these challenges for like 50 days straight. These guys and girls have been like on it like every single day. Cameras up, open, ready to get the F out of this thing. So it's just like you guys have to like when you take a look at like who's actually being the most successful at this, um, yeah, kind of like doing that. But I would really recommend you guys are hitting this up. Also, another resource that we've also had on here, tech staffing agencies. Take a break from the job boards and hit up the tech staffing agencies. Like if you hit up Motion Recruitment, that's under the tech staffing agencies tab, and you go to find a job. Tech staffing agencies actually have some of the best roles out here because, like, why? These are all companies that are hiring a staffing agency to go ahead and help them hire for somebody. So, like, they're urgent to go out there and move. Devarsh.
Yeah, I talked to a recruiter from Motion, and uh, he called me. He's like, "Oh, I have two roles that might be a fit," and he kept telling me, "Oh, you got to tell me where else you are interviewing," and I told him, "Well, I'm not open to sharing that." And then he again before I ended the call, he's like, "Well, once we get an interview for you, you have to tell me where you're interviewing," and then he just ghosted me.
Well, like you also have to like understand like when you're talking about to a recruiter where else that you're interviewing at, that's their social proof of being able to tell a hiring manager like, okay, he's interviewing at Hulu and HBO Go right now. I was like, oh shit, they're talking to him. Then that's just gonna make them want to go ahead and talk to you that much more, right? Like when one of the reasons why we're cracking the whip, making sure that you guys are getting the job out there is just like, yeah, our call volume shot up when we're like, we just got somebody into Amazon. Oh, well, it's completely different than like, yeah, Austin here, he's been applying, interviewing. It's just like, well, that sounds really sexy, like getting a job, like Amazon, like, whoa, oh, okay. Like, do you think I can get a job? That's what you got to do. Like I said, they're pitching you to the hiring manager. Like the hiring manager's got to be excited to go ahead and actually like talk to this person, especially in a sea of talent right now. They're frustrated too at the process. So like you got to give them something that's actually going to go ahead and stick out. That's going to get them like that's what we think about when we're putting out content here in Korea is like what's going to get people hot. And for
So
March, we got some hot content coming.
so
Yeah, talk to
yeah,
me.
so your recommendation is just name drop a few.
Name drop, dude. Name drop the companies you're not even interviewing at. Like, but like, here's the thing, right? Like, you gotta like stand out. Like, when you go ahead and you're trying to get funding, right? This is the thing that, like, you know, I got like the IG live right here is like literally like, people are asking me like questions like, yeah, like when you're trying to get funding in the Bay Area, like even if you didn't get funding at like Sequoia Capital, you want to have like a photo. Like there's people, they'll literally take a photo in front of like Sequoia Capital and post it up on their IG. It's like, yeah, we were just at the Sequoia Capital office. I never said I went in. I didn't say I took a meeting. you know? But like people will be like, you would think that shit, and it's just like, damn. Yeah, dude, I think I just saw that on your LinkedIn. Like you were at the Sequoia. I was at the Sequoia Capitol building outside. I mean, I never said I had a, you know. And it's just like, how's that going? They always say like they want to go ahead and actually have like a think about it, and which they do. Like they're always thinking about it. What are they gonna say? Like Yeah, did you guys over there talk to this Asian guy today? It's like, you know how many Asian guys we talk to in a given day about getting funding out here? Yeah, that guy. Yeah. He went to NYU, right? Yeah, we talked to some Chinese guy that came out of NYU. Talked to like 8 of them, like, every single day before lunchtime. Somebody here is, so like you want to go out there and create the perception. Like, you don't, if they really want to know, like, hiring manager, you should never let them know, like, oh yeah, I talked to Sean at Samsung. That's not good, right? But like you should actually go out there and social proof yourself up a little bit. Also, like another way to go out there and actually secure bigger interviews, and that's also another way to secure bigger offers, is actually saying like the interviews that you're having, but being more direct about it. If you guys are like trying to follow up with companies that have ghosted you, another tip that I have is like, well, yeah, currently right now I'm interviewing with 4 other companies. I have 2 round ones, 1 round 2, and another company just booked me for a final round right before I got on this interview with you. So that way it's just like, you have some very like specific things to like actually go ahead and like reference. Another person that I know that does this for like investment bankers, they'll literally tell them like that stuff too. They're like, yeah, I had 3 right here in New York. I had 1 interview for a family office out there in London, and then I had another Zoom call also for a remote role, like being very, very, very specific. So I would recommend for the people that are having a difficult time securing those interviews, like you have to like ramp up the name, like you have to go ahead and just ramp up on the interview numbers more. I think as we've seen with you know, if like I want to go out there and just address the like elephant in the room, is like, yeah, when they see like in an Indian name there, like you guys are probably gonna have to apply just like way more. Like nobody else wants to actually say this for risk of getting canceled, but because I have real jobs, and I live in Korea now, so I don't really care. Somebody's gonna give me what trouble? Like you have to go out there and actually hit more numbers. Our Amazon offer, right? I mean, she had like about like this was like 5th or 6th offer. So 100%, you guys have to like go out there and ramp it up, follow up, be more aggressive, because that's exactly what it's gonna go out there and take. But be on the offense about it too. You guys don't want to be like, you guys don't want to be defensive about it. Any other? Let me see here. Okay, what are some? Okay, so I got 2 more questions here from Sean. Okay, speaking of offers, what's the best way of approaching negotiating compensation without pricing myself out? Actually, it's kind of like, what's the best way, best approach? Okay, so ultimately at the end of the day, let's talk about that right now. Plexi, can you go ahead and mark this as like minute like 30? And the YouTube title should be like how to approach negotiating high paying offers, high paying product manager offers. Okay, that sounds clickbait enough. Let's use one with the photos where I'm holding like a wad of cash. Okay, so okay, so at the end of the day, here's what you want. You want to make the most amount of money, right, for that offer, and you're going to work really hard, and you're scared to go ahead and price yourself out. On the other hand, they want to, let's just assume 2 things. Number 1 is they don't want to give you the money. Number 2 is they want to give you the money. Regardless, is what is their biggest hesitation of giving you more money is that you're a dud. And like a lot of people are. Good help is really hard to find. I don't care if you're trying to hire somebody for the deli. I don't care if you are trying to hire, like most people, I'm sorry to say this, just suck at their job. There's a reason why like employers say like good help is hard to find. It's not like you just pay some money out and you're going to get some like decent, responsible people. So you want to go ahead and address what's going to make them happy. This is actually a negotiating tactic that we talked about in recruiting a lot that I found to be very successful, but there was so many more than I could ever remember. Is like when you think about what's going to make you happy, you start getting that guy. So one of the things that I posted up in that social proof text message to flex, and we got like a wave of calls coming in, right? Is they actually had a phone call like on Saturday for like 2 hours. It's like, okay, Rich, what do you really want, man? Well, you're hiring for this role. I want to leave New York and I want to spend my life in South Korea, and I actually don't want to do the following things anymore. You got to get them to really spill. Like they have a vision of what their life is going to be like too, right? Like very few people are going to be like the Elons and the Jensens. Like I'll tell you guys this right now. If I won the lottery, you guys will not catch me in this call in 24 hours. I'm not here. I viciously say that shit all like I'm not doing this for product management. This is a job, You think roadmaps, Jira, and Confluence get me up out of bed in the morning? No. I get out of bed in the morning from the dollars. That's it. Like I'd be playing golf all day and just studying Korean films. Because I was a film minor back at like Loyola Marymount University. They have a vision of what their life is like. And what you want to go ahead and do is sell them on that vision. Like this roadmap, this getting funding, this whatever. Let's just say we got it. How do you want them to go ahead and feel? That's what they really care about. What's going to make you happy? And then now you can go ahead and talk about, all right, so what's stopping us from getting there? This is what performance coaches do all the time when they're just like, head shrinking billionaires, right? In Connecticut is like, what's stopping us from getting there right now? Because ultimately that's what they're all doing it for is trying to get somewhere. We're trying to go for an acquisition right now too. Not to say like it's going to happen this month, so you guys can all rest easy. But like, yeah, we want to get bought. Like, I don't want to work anymore. I do not want to work anymore. I'm over it. So like, what are you going to do with all that? What's stopping us from getting there right now? Then you can actually talk about what have we tried to actually do, and then we can actually talk about what you are going to do. So, okay, what's your life going to be like when things are done? So the next thing here is what's stopping us from getting there right now? And then the next thing after that is, okay, once we get there, what's stopping, like, okay, like what have we tried to do about the situation? A lot of times what they feel like is going to solve their problem is not even the right project to be working on. So that's something that you have to be very cognizant of. And then you can tell them how it is that you can go out there and help. So let's just say I didn't want to do any more admissions calls anymore. Well, okay, how can we go ahead and completely avoid that? Well, we can go out there and hire more people. Okay, well, who would go ahead and manage the team? Okay, this person. And then you just go basically down the funnel. Everybody does something that's like very selfish, but I guess like focus less, I think, on the fundamentals because like they train the shit out of us to negotiate for people. But I would just be on the phone. It's like, listen, all right. I would be on a call with a hiring manager, like, all right, do you even know, like, Jerry, what it means if we can get Austin here for an extra 10K? That's all he's asking for. He's asking for like an extra 10K, Rich, blah, blah. Okay, what the fuck would you be doing with your time if he crushes all those KPIs? Be out there surfing right now in Venice. What's stopping us from getting there? Can't tell me you actually like looking at your Slack channel right now. What are you looking at? My Slack channel right now? You like what you're looking at? Not really. Okay, let's talk about how to get you off of it. You know how all the other like, startup founders, they're just flexing on Instagram all day, but they have like a real rock star CTO or chief product officer, they're doing all the work. Isn't that what you really want? Where are those people, Rich? I'm telling you right now, Austin is your guy. You don't have to like him. He doesn't have to be your friend. But just know he's the guy making sure you are the guy that doesn't have to do work, but taking all the credit for it. And he's only asking for an extra 10K. So why are you being cheap about it? So like, that's just like a sample, but usually we get them up to like an extra like 20, like as you guys can see recently, we just racked up the thing to like an extra 35 G's, right? Because that's what people want to feel. It's like, I just want to do nothing. Okay, that's what they want. Yeah, so like without pricing yourself out, you don't talk about the conversation isn't about you versus what you can do. Because, yo, what if like China whips up another DeepSeek called Farsight next week? That changes up our business model. Now all of a sudden, you're stopping me from living my best life in Seoul. You're irrelevant. And I feel like I'm out the pocket. And I feel like I just spent all this extra money, right? And I feel like, yo, I just got ripped off here. I bought what I thought I wanted, but it turns out that what I bought, it wasn't what I needed, right? So now you want to go ahead and always sell them on like, I'm here for you. You guys notice that in all of my content. I'm like, I'm here for you. It's about what you want. You guys notice like all of the posts like, you don't have to do this by yourself. Come here and make friends you can be friends with for life. It's all about you. We do it for you. You. I'm talking about I. No. You know, all of our testimonial videos is like how I landed a product manager job with work-life balance, even though that's what people care about. That was the YouTube testimonial with I. That's what people care about, right? So you go ahead and do that. So it's all about like them. Generally speaking, though, instead of focusing so much about what you want, them just talking about what they want and the frustration of how they're going to get what they want, you don't always have to present yourself as a solution. Like they will just feel better about talking to you. And if they feel like they can talk to you about that shit, this is actually why people pay so much for therapists and performance coaches. I largely think they're very ineffective people. Like it's just like talking about like how your parents made you feel when you were 14, and it's just like, and then when you start getting into it, it's like, all right, so our time's up, but see you again same time. Like keep those billable hours racking. Like no, let's like talk about like what is it that we're gonna do about the situation, right? But uh, getting just even an appointment right now with a therapist is like it's a pretty long line because I've had a lot of friends get a divorce in the past like 2.5 years, and they can't even book an appointment with a couples therapist. It's like it's funny. You take a look at all the rock stars that made it, like Elon Musk. Yeah, so or like Bill Ackman is like, yeah, so we were being investigated by SEC at the time, and my wife also decided that that was a great opportunity for her to divorce me. What'd you expect, bro? You knew who you were getting involved with. Yeah, so make it about them and just talk to them. If they so much as remotely feel like you actually care about their situation, you would have a better, like how they feel about you just even talking about it. Not like, I feel like product managers in the interview process, you guys are putting way too much pressure on yourself of, I have this solution. No. You don't have the solution. You legitimately don't. And that's okay. And honestly speaking, you're going to get thrown problems where you just have no solution. There was no like, people are asking me like, so is Product Gym going to still be able to help people get jobs like right now? I was like, oh, you mean in the span of, there's never been a global lockdown for a worldwide pandemic? Yeah, the last time it happened, like, no, we have no data. We are venturing into the unknown right now, folks. There is no Amazon book I can buy on how to run a tech boot camp during a lockdown. I was like, I was just trying to make it a Trader Joe's without somebody telling me to go back home to China. That's what I was worried about an hour ago. Like, no. So like you don't stop presenting yourself as like, I have this answer, I've done this before, and just present like how I would go out there and try to figure something out. And if you do that, then it's just like, okay, this person feels like they have some degree of common sense. That's what's going to get you the bigger offer. When we do bootcamp consulting, it's also the same shit too. Like, okay, so we do well on like YouTube, we do well on LinkedIn. Okay, that we don't know how to do. You probably want to talk to somebody else. That like we're learning that ourselves right now, and we've actually won business just letting them know what it is that we can do versus what we can't do. And this one guy actually told me, he's like, you know what, Rich, I got to be honest. I fuck with you, man. Because I just talked to this guy. He was like, he does it all. He knows all this shit. And he's like, something about me just couldn't trust him. I was like, yeah, there's no way you can know. I mean, maybe he did, but you know, you still can't trust him. So trust is also a huge factor of it. Austin, shoot.
So, one of my goals is to get into an AI company, and surprisingly, the two companies that I interviewed with were both AI, in that space. But it's crazy because I love the approach that you're talking about, how like you're coming straight to the point and asking what they need. This My first interview, I wasn't quite prepared for it, but she told me exactly what they're looking for in this role. Like they told me there's too many product designers. We need someone to bring in more structure. And you're talking about like how do I figure out the balance of like I have solutions, but I also, I guess in my perspective, I don't have an AI background, but I'm like I have the ability to learn and to like, show that I can adapt and whatnot. Like how do I navigate this space that I actually just don't have much experience in, but still prove that I can do it? Like,
The
uh,
first step, and it sounds kind of cliche, or it may even sound like I'm dodging the question, is the first step is like you got to actually like believe that you can. And you have to, because like your confidence is going to play the biggest
for
factor in
sure.
interviewing. And
Right.
what you have to think about is like all the little wins that you've had. It's like also like recent wins of like things that
Mm,
it's like figured out, Like like having that level of momentum going in there, because you have to be logical. You don't have an AI background, but neither does a lot of people. And even though AI's been around for like a while, there's still not a lot of people using ChatGPT. Like I still see a lot of people every single day. Like I'm gonna head into the office in a little bit. Is like they're still just doing shit like just manually because they feel like it's faster. And like, yeah, initially, like even when I was coming up with like YouTube content or like brainstorming ideas for like product management or all kinds of stuff, ChatGPT took me longer than me doing it like straight up like on the spot. Like I was just like, I could just get this shit done right now. And but once I was like, no, I gotta learn AI too, and I gotta learn all this stuff to like force multiply effort. Like the video AI video editing is like crazy right now. Like sometimes like it's just easier for me to just grab my iPhone and just start like just give me the 40 titles. I can just start like I can just go. But like now that I'm learning, like, okay, we need more visuals in there, we need more editing in there. I'm like, it's gonna take so much time. You guys are seeing us do more of it now. We're getting faster and faster. And like my team here is convincing me like it's gonna catch up. So yeah, it takes longer right now, but it's gonna catch up. But people have like a concept like procrastinating. So not everybody's working as fast. You don't have to like present the delta as like it's so far away. Not everybody like our team right now could definitely be doing a lot more to leverage AI for you guys. So much of what we're doing right now is still so manual. But it's also like whether or not you have the time. So it's like you always have to convince yourself that it's something that you can learn because there's all this other stuff that you didn't know before and you learned it. And you're also, I think, psychologically, you have to tell yourself that like you didn't know this before, but there's a lot of other stuff that you didn't know, but you're never ever going to get to the point where you know it all. Every single time
right.
when I feel like product gym's like at a good spot, there's always some kind of challenge that forces us to have to like innovate. So you're like next week, you're going to be learning some other skill. And like next month, it's like, okay, you get here and it's just like another challenge. And then you have to learn this other
Another
skill,
one.
you
Yep.
know? So learning how to learn is a skill and
Is a skill within
it's
itself. Yeah.
never gonna end. That's why I love operating in the motherland. The people here are just so resilient. Like, China just recently just lifted the Korean wave ban. Like now they can start performing in China again. Like when China was like, you guys are out, they're just like, well, I guess we're just gonna conquer America. Like Koreans are freaking tougher than reindeer jerky, Like when I'm like in the States, they're just oh fuck. Oh like oh, no, no. It's like they never want to work,
Relentless.
you
Yeah.
know, never want to like here it's like the challenges are just constantly like it's another challenge, it's another challenge, it's another challenge, it's another challenge, and we're just gonna have to crack that. Like the people are like, You know, the people really have this mindset here is like challenge accepted, motherfuckers. Like, let's freaking go. So you're always going to have to learn new things. And again, you always have to let your passion and your enthusiasm. This is actually why I think like the transitioners, they've been getting the jobs more than they've been crushing the jobs hunt more than the veterans because the experienced product managers are so jaded. It's like they see this one thing, like, oh, you need a backlog person. That's the last thing I want to do is product backlog. Like, you know, somebody that's just like, oh, I would
I've
love
been
to
doing
pull up my sleeves and just work on a backlog all weekend, right? Because they're just like,
right.
it beats the hell out of doing what it is that I'm doing right now, or like user stories. Like, you know, I see like the experience process. It's the same freaking story over and over. Like somebody else would actually like want to go out there and discover, like actually write up like new user stories. So whatever it is that you don't know, you have to make up for it in your belief that you can learn it because you've already learned all these other skills and you people that accept like I'm learning we're more active on Instagram right now and I vehemently was like not like an Instagram person for a long time and I'm learning all this. This is all brand new to me. You're going to learn this shit too. The other thing here is you have to let your enthusiasm. Hiring managers will almost always, in my years of recruiting, hire somebody that has less experience, but they're enthusiastic versus the person that has more experience because it comes back down to like, how do they feel working next to you? You know, I've rejected a lot of people that's interviewed for me that has a lot more experience. Just like, I don't know, it's because they're like desperate for the interview or for the job, but I just felt such high levels of anxiety versus like, I've actually hired people with less experience myself where that I don't know that, but if you can get back to go ahead and like, I'll more than go ahead and like help you figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I've gelled really well with the people that I interviewed with, despite not having maybe as much standards as they're putting on the job description. So I feel like I am doing that good, but maybe I can take your advice and just share more of the enthusiasm. Because for real, like the reason why I want to get into AI, I want to like I really love how it has helped my life personally and professionally. But I think I got to figure out maybe a way how to talk more about that enthusiasm in the interview. So,
I mean, when I first approached cybersecurity, I didn't really know much about it, shy of like having Norton antivirus as a kid. But I was like, give me 30 days. And like,
yeah, it's not a
yeah,
problem to learn it for sure.
it's not like, and like, if you guys see those like YouTube screenshots of the data analytics that I'm flexing, I was like, all right, we're just gonna go ahead and like scrape. I literally did this thing earlier today. Oh man, it was actually pretty fun. Sean missed out on that call, but it's fine. Because we're definitely doing the one for like tomorrow, but we s- I showed people like we scraped out every major influencer for like product management, cybersecurity, and tech sales, and like we're just looking at their Instagram profiles and we're just like like what they're doing. We analyzed the shit out of that this past weekend, and then some of the PMs that want to be influencers, how they script it, how they promote it, how they share it, how they got to collaborate with other people, and I was like, we're coming after all these people. But yeah, you know, like it's nothing that you can't learn. Um, Always the confidence I think is like the most important thing is like you have to have that like you have to think like you have to really be out there thinking like you're the best. uh Let me see here, use your like 100%. Yeah, without any further ados, is there any last minute questions that I can go out there and knock out for y'all? um
I think I think I nailed how to quickly get all my apps out. But now I think the next step is figuring out how to quickly reach out to recruiters. I want to like streamline that process. Do you have any tips?
yeah, start doing it. You know,
Just do it.
well,
Yeah, that's
like the
true.
more you
That's
do,
really the real.
the more you're doing something, like the faster you're just gonna go ahead and get at it, right? So like you also have to like measure that process of like you kind of get into like a cadence and kind of like a groove. And then once you like basically zone out, once you basically like zone out, you'll basically like you basically like you'll just hit this like I was yeah, don't overthink it, just go out there and do it.
Send it. Just send it.
You know, you just gotta do that. You know, you, like you'll actually it's going to be different when you actually see when you're actually engaged with combat. Uh, yeah, man. Um, freaking heck.
Hey, Rich, this is Karthik. I have a quick question. I'm
Everybody
seeing more and
type your
more.
I'll answer the question, but everybody type your quick questions into the thing. Like I'm not like fucking human GPT, you know, I kind of have to like look at the thing a little bit too. You know, like, okay, what are the questions?
Hey, I'm seeing more in easy apply on LinkedIn. Like more and more companies are using that. Is it okay to use that? Like why is that?
I mean,
I'm guessing because
100%, you
people
guys
are
should
not
just use easy apply because it's easy for
okay.
them just to aggregate the most amount of information, but you still got to go ahead and follow up with the people.
Okay.
If you're not following up with them, you're just not going to go ahead and you're just not going to go ahead and actually get, you're just not going to go ahead and actually get the interviews. Um, so you have to go ahead and just actually like follow up more, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
follow up. That's the name of the game, you know. So comes down to just how much action you guys are taking. I'm gonna wrap that up with this call is like how much action are you guys actually taking on this? You throw enough. I mean, Sean, how many interviews were you like averaging like before we started like doing these calls regularly?
Not much, like maybe like one or two at most. And then once I started taking action, I jumped like, I don't know, I can't even measure, multiple folds.
You mean once we started running these calls like SM Town? Add some emojis here. People say, okay. I see a few Asians respond. They got the reference. You know, once like, yeah, dude, like that's everyone is walking around like, oh, like freaking market's bad. I was like, it's not bad, dude. You don't want it to be bad. If it's bad, you're out of a career. It's worse than being out of a job, right? No, 100%. I ended off with this, folks. Like the market's actually great. Uh, uh, the market's actually fantastic. I mean, take a look at the offers that we just, all those people were from the beginning of the year calls, you know, showing up consistently, doing the work. And you know what I notice across the board? People are going to say it's racist, but I don't care. We just can't be politically correct about it. They were all either Chinese, Korean, or Indian. It is the three demographics that you will see at every American university library of the people that are just like, because just taking action. You know, the but, I don't mean to put anybody down, but the but. That vocabulary word did not exist for us growing up as children. I think I only said that thing to my. I never said. I don't even think that. I can't even recall me saying that to my mom ever. Now, even, but you know, if you go out there and you put up like that number of roles, you're just gonna go ahead and get interviews. And actually, like, if you remove yourself from the mindset of like um if you remove yourself from like the mindset of like how do I get this job to I'm really flexing stretching out the muscle of end user behavior. When I came up with this idea to reach out to hiring managers directly on LinkedIn, there was no data to prove that, you know, but I told Dennis to do it and he was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. And then like I told him to like reach out to companies that he got rejected from. And he was like, does that work? He's like, yeah. There was no data to support it, people. But it was like, and then he started reaching out, and you guys see in the circle, the screen, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this company rejected me, and like I reached out to him. It's a numbers game. So it's about being just more scheduled on the time. Um, you know, but you guys have to like want it. I've created probably the most clear schedule ever of like when people should be hitting what roles. And then I thought it was just like, oh, people don't have clarity on what they should be doing. And then I created that. And then people were like, okay, but like when do I do it? And I thought there wasn't enough like structure. So we have to remove the friction. And then it's just like, well, how do I gotta do it? And then it's like, why do it? It's like, if you freaking want to do it, you would have done it. So stop putting all that like bullshit between you and getting what it is that you want, because you don't want to be on this call. I've said this shit plenty of times. I don't fucking want to be on this call. you know but I'm here because it's like I'm a professional. It's my job. Top of that's also my business. Beats doing what you guys are doing right now. I have to like remind myself of that. All my friends are like, bro, you're printing US dollars out here in Asia. You roll out of bed, hair's not done, pop on IG Live, talk some shit for 2-3 hours, eat lunch, and then take a nap. Should I do? My friends that work for their own parents don't even want to go to work. I was getting yelled at by my dad all day. And that guy looks healthy AF. Like he's not going to go in time soon, man. I got at least another decade and a half of this. Like, yeah. So like, then I got to go ahead and remind myself, you guys are like, we have to dial it back sometimes. Like we're in an incredibly fortunate situation where you guys are getting a job in tech. A lot of you guys are going to be working remotely. Beats the hell out of those guys that are working that construction site just outside my window. I'll take a photo of it on IG for you guys to take a look at it later. What.bad.economy. They got no shot. What are they gonna do? Listen to like a product management podcast while they're freaking like working the crane operator, or like worse, being on the roof. So like get your 50, 100 apps out and actually get up to 200 apps a day. If I put $10,000 on the table right now, you guys could do 200 applications. I know that for like a fact. Okay. Last little movie reference of the day to give homage to my film minor, because I would have been a filmmaker had my parents allowed me to do it. They're like, Asian content would never be hot in America. And I'm like, I freaking said it was. But I'm actually kind of glad because like entertainment's like a whole nother level of ratchet. Did you guys watch this movie called The Gorge on Apple TV? It's like their biggest like promo.
No.
Can you share the link of it's in there. It's on the Airtable. I put it all on the Airtable, Devarsh. You guys need to study that Airtable. Like you guys just freaking got access to like an alien spaceship. Everything is in that air. I created everything in that Airtable largely for one reason. I got tired of scrolling through Google Docs. Everything's in that one Airtable. All right. Under the tab called LinkedIn message templates. Freaking hey. But The Gorge, freaking great movie. They had like two people, Miles Teller and like that other girl that used to be on Queen's Gambit on the opposite side. They're supposed to be like protecting Earth from like hell. And it was freaking hilarious because there's this one scene. You saw it on my IG, right, Sean? Where I posted up the stories.
Yep.
She's like, you want to grab dinner tonight? And then that freaking guy just propelled. And I was like watching with my friends. I was like, it is amazing what a guy can do under the proper motivation. Like, yeah. I started whipping out power tools. Like fucking fast roping. I was laughing so hard, my neighbor had to knock on my door, like, you're being too loud, man. I was like, 100%. My friend's wife was like, would you have done that? I was like, yeah, and I have an insane fear of heights. I wouldn't have let that shit stop me. So a lot of you guys are just not that motivated about getting this job, and I get it. And that's why I like get this job as soon as possible, so you don't have to get it. You don't have to like get it anymore. My other call that I'm hosting at like 6 p.m. I'm showing the product managers how to become influencers and how to like retire from product management essentially. And these are all the people, your predecessors, the people that graduated from product school, product gym, not product school, product gym 3 years ago that are like, how do I go ahead and make money on YouTube, Rich? And I was like, funny enough, we're studying the same shit. So why don't we just all do it together? Uh, we were studying the Chloe She funnel today, and I was actually like putting it out there. I was like, I think like all these product managers that have like all these like hundreds of thousands of views, we could probably take it all apart. And a lot of product managers that's gotten laid off, they essentially have that. They essentially like created like an influencer brand. They have not been working since. They're just full-time content creators right now, and I'm trying to figure this shit out. Because I still got to somewhat work. I'd rather not work, you know. I'd rather be like, we are visiting the #1 water park today in Asia. I'd much rather be doing that. I can write all that shit off as a business expense. Not like I really have to worry about the IRS since the Elon's gonna freaking massacre them. Caribbean Bay, I think that's one of them. It just depends on the vibe.